Hetepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Qesankh Keperu with another exciting video for you. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to handle relationship drama. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe bell to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you want to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you, and you can cancel at any time. As a member, you can enjoy the benefits of instructional videos on the esoteric, videos that will show you how to properly meditate, videos that will show you how to create magical amulets, do a ritual, communicate with spirits, and do lucid dreaming. You'll also have access to nice articles dealing with how do you deal with family or a legacy curse, how do you deal with dark deceased beings and things of that nature. So become a Patreon supporter today. Last but not least, share this video so that we can get this revolution started. Hatapu, Grand Rising. Hope you all are doing well. So let's get into dealing with relationship drama, or relationship conflict, I should say. No one, everybody in a relationship at one point or another will encounter some trouble, some issues. And this is natural because, we are people, and people carry their baggage into relationships, and sometimes it crops up, and we have to deal with it. This is why it's important, and I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with it, but in the Kemetic spiritual tradition, we have our great Oracle of Tahuti, and these are a set of cards that will help you manage in a relationship, because it is the objective truth. The Oracle is the Word of God, so you can go to the Oracle and talk about, please comment on my conduct or my mate's conduct, and it will give you some advice on dealing with the situation. That's very important, because when you enter a relationship, it's important that your mate is also following in the spiritual tradition. It's not required, but it would be nice. That's just how things are, and if you two are in a spiritual tradition, and you are big advocates of the Oracle, then it's going to make life a lot easier for the two of you, versus going to her mother or her father to get advice. That could be a whole lot of trouble, you know what I mean? Or her going to her girlfriends, or him going to his boys and getting their feedback on who is wrong in the argument and things of that nature. I want to share with you two techniques that I found that really help in a relationship, all right? Actually three, because the first one I shared is the oracles. That is paramount. That is the thing that you want to really have governing your relationship. Some other things that are on the peripheral is, number one, it's good to set up an altar, and that's where you put various deities, or you can put a deity on the altar, and that deity will help you in governing the relationship. And of course, you also should have, in addition to that deity, Sebek, who is opener of the way. So make sure you have your main altar, and then you have Sebek. And Sebek, usually you can position at the door, because he is the opener of the way. So any doorways or things of that nature, you can say Sebek governs. Doing that will really change the dynamics and the energy of the relationship. But let's just say you've entered into a monogamous relationship, and you find that the two of you are having some trouble. Let's say maybe you live together, and you have these arguments all the time, and it keeps coming up, keeps coming up. But let me say something about this too, so that we set expectations. Arguing every now and then can be healthy, as long as it's done in the correct, constructive way. You don't want to have unrealistic expectations going into a relationship. Like when somebody tells me, "Oh, we never argue," I'm like, "Uh-oh," because you have to understand that an argument does not mean that the relationship's going to fall apart or anything like that. But it can be constructive and healthy. You know what I mean? If you're not arguing, that's great, but it can also be a sign of something to come. You know what I mean? And as usual, I'm not going to go into this now, but this is something like the precursor. When you're selecting a mate, you go to the oracles and ask, is that woman or man appropriate for you? You got to make sure the energy is right. And you also will use that reading, and you can sit down with your mate and say, listen, this is the trouble the oracle said we're going to have in our relationship. Let's work on it now. And then you proceed from there. All right? So let's get into the nitty-gritty. You have to understand that you are pushed outward. What do I mean by that? Quantum mechanics tells us that nothing exists outside of the observer. You are the observer. You are God man and God woman. And nothing exists out there. There is nothing, nada. But everything takes shape and form the minute you observe it. So the mere act of observing, you are pulling together the molecules and the energy to form solid objects and people. So when you're looking at the building, the wall, the cars over there, those are products of your creation, because you are God man, God woman. So what you are observing is a manifestation coming from you inside. Isn't that wild? So in reality, nothing exists apart from the observer. Everything that you are seeing and interacting, the only thing that it's not real. The only thing that's real is the experience. And that's what you're here for, is an experience. The homeless person on the corner, he's experiencing what it's like to be homeless. This millionaire is experiencing what it's like to not have any needs or wants monetarily. Because God sets order. Neter orders things. And in your next life, you may be a homeless person, or you may be that millionaire. Because you're trying to experience everything. Neter, which is God, is experiencing itself. And has made an agreement with you to live through you, the physical body, Geb, to experience the 3D, third density, third dimension, or fourth dimension, because we have to include time in that. So you must understand that your mate, in a sense, doesn't really exist. You're interacting with an avatar. And much of what you're interacting with is coming from your own thoughts and beliefs, believe it or not. I mean, she does actually exist on another realm. I don't want to get into that. But for the sake of this conversation, she's a part of your reality, but she doesn't really exist. Therefore, she is subject to change, or he is subject to change. So if you find yourself having an argument and you keep having an argument or arguments, understand that, modern psychotherapy says, you have to go see a psychologist, have a session. They may do the whole Freudian thing where you sit back and you talk about the experience. Or you do relationship or therapy where both of you sit there and discuss each other's points of differences. But the way we operate in this Kemetic spiritual tradition is this. If your mate is disagreeing with you, or if you're having a problem, you can fix him by, number one, let's get this. This is the first technique I'm going to share with you. It comes out of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. When you're having an argument, and this is for you guys who have consistent arguments, and you're in the heat of the moment, what you need to do is break state. Because everything is a state. What I mean by state is kind of like equivalent to an emotion. When you're angry, you're in a state. So the two of you are in state, or in trance. And it's very difficult to come to an agreement when you're both emotional. The way you deal with that is to break state. Take both of you out of that trance state. Because you're arguing and you're probably yelling and the neighbors can hear. I know. I've done it myself. I've been in that situation many times. You're yelling, the neighbors can hear you. You're both very passionate about your side. So one of the things you can do is break state. Well, how do you do that? It's simple. It's doing the unexpected. It's a pattern interrupt, as we call it, pattern interrupt. One of the things you can do is, out of the blue, go hug her or him. They'll be like, what's going on? Go hug her or him. That breaks state. Another thing you can do is have a cup of water nearby, and you're talking, you're arguing. Throw the water on yourself, not your mate, on yourself. And he or she's going to look at you like, whoa. And what that's going to do is it going to break the argument. It's going to stop it and eliminate that state. It's going to interrupt that pattern and give you both a rest. You know what I mean? One of the things is I bought me, I'm a big Star Wars fan, bought me a lightsaber, Luke Skywalker. And it's kind of cool. And I've got a number of these. And when me and my mate are arguing to break state or do a pattern interrupt, I'll quickly pull these out. And I'll say on guard. And we'll start dueling. And it's great for a pattern interrupt. But that's just one thing you can do. All right? I want you just to get the idea of what I'm talking about in terms of a pattern interrupt. Now, the next technique I want to give you is kind of like a preparation. As I said, your mate is you pushed out. He or she is an avatar, part of your creation. And if so, you have a say in her thoughts and beliefs. So energy is transferred. Your energy resonates and affects people and things, believe it or not. So if you're having some trouble with your mate, the one thing you can do is sit down and meditate. And during your meditation session, visualize her or the two of you acting in concert, acting together harmoniously, like Het Heru, because she governs relationships. See that in your inner mind during your meditation. And if you have access to the oracles, prior to doing that meditation, you can go to the oracle and ask what deity governs the resolution of your issues. And you may come up with like Oser. And with that, you will do the Oser mantra, chanting the Oser mantra while you're in trance and seeing you and your mate harmoniously acting out, going to dinner, traveling. And you continue to do this for at least a month. And what you're going to find is that she's going to start to change. And you're going to start to change. You're going to start to see things differently. And she's going to start to see things differently. And what's going to happen is you're going to have an entirely new mate. The arguments will stop. The relationship will be more passionate. Sex will be more exciting. And as I said, she literally will be a different person. Because as we shift through parallel realms, we change. We change. And the rule is you have a 3% effect on people, meaning that when you do your meditation, you visualize them in agreement with you. You have a 3% influence rate on them. And a 3% change is a full change. So you're dealing with a whole new person. And when you discover this and you see this for yourself, you'll start to understand that everything you see around you is a product of you. It's you pushed outward. And that you have a say in how your world unfolds. Isn't that beautiful? Now, there are some relationships that are atomic, that are nuclear. And if you're in those type of relationships, you may need to get out. Now, what do I mean by atomic and nuclear? I mean, if he starts hitting you, or she starts hitting you, you know? If it comes down to that, then you have to look at separating. Because you can never accept physical abuse. Never accept physical abuse. Never accept physical abuse. Did I say never? You're a divine being. No one has the right to put their hands on you. And if you allow that, you know, I was counseling this woman once, and she was talking about, and her name was Aset. Beautiful name. And she was talking about this man that she was so passionately in love with. Come to find out, he was behind bars. He was in jail. And I'm like, of all these good men out here, you pick somebody in jail, a criminal. And she goes, well, he wasn't like that when I first met him. Then he changed and he went to jail, and I'm very dedicated to him. And then she's running around trying to get money to bail him out. Listen, let me explain something to you. It is an insult to your being to be with someone like that. And that is not love. If you're in that type of relationship, then you need to examine yourself, because you have some dark things going on in your psyche. There are too many good men and good women on this planet for you to be trying to hook up with somebody behind bars. Now, yes, people make mistakes. And I can't judge that. I can't tell you that you're all wrong, even though I just did. But you would need to go to the oracles to find out if you should stay committed to that person. But 9 times out of 10, I would say you need to find somebody else. That's not going to work. It's not a good role model for any kids that you may have or going to have. It's just very problematic because STDs spread in prison, and so is drug use. So you don't know what he or she has been through in there. They may have been physically raped, and they won't probably tell you. But that changes a person. It really does. And most of those rape victims have contracted an STD. So think about that. Because a lot of women I talk to have a really nasty habit of picking the bad boys. And many men I talk to have a nasty habit of staying with a girl they know is not right for them. A lot of men are overly committed. I don't know why. I think it's low self-esteem that they think that once they leave their relationship, they won't find somebody better. But you will. Because it's all your creation. Go and do meditation and visualize yourself meeting someone different. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. So anyway, I hope this message resonates with you. And go out and get you some lightsabers, so you can start dueling the safe way without putting hands on each other. Oops. Okay. This is Qesankh Kaparu, the Jedi. Salam Ma'at and Tahuti. Ma'at is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next broadcast, may the force be with you.